Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity today to join you. Unfortunately, the words that's going to come out of my mouth aren't pleasant words. They're not words that I use in everyday conversation, so I hope you'll all forgive me. These words are words that are being taught in classrooms all across the UK. So my name's Kimberly Isherwood, and I'm chair of an organisation called Public Child Protection Wales. Public Child Protection Wales does exactly what it says on the tin. We're the public protecting the children in Wales. So first of all, I'll tell you a bit about myself. It's important you understand what kind of person I am. So I'm a child from the streets, homeless on and off from 14 to 21, and I spent some time in a Youth Offenders Institute. That's what I discovered, institutional child sex abuse. So that's where my passion came from there. So as you can imagine, nobody understands the importance of a good, safe sex education more than me. I've seen the damage this thing can do to people. So about 10 years ago, I discovered an article online claiming that the World Health Organization wanted to teach 4-year-olds about masturbation. So by this time, I was doing a few degrees, criminology, social policy, and so on. So I went looking for this information. No way is the World Health Organization promoting masturbation for 4-year-olds. No, they wasn't promoting it for 4-year-olds. They were promoting it from birth. So let's fast forward another 7 years. An article appeared online about my country, Wales. The Welsh government were mandating a sex education from age 3 to 16 with no parental opt-out. Well, I knew exactly what I was looking for. I went straight to the Welsh Government documentation. It took me seconds to find reference to the Global Sex Education, World Health Organization, and the United Nations. So from there, we started a little campaign to-ing and fro-ing with the government. Naively, I believed Kirsty Williams, the former education minister, had made a mistake. We learned the hard way. It was not a mistake. We found documentation telling us that all 4 countries in the UK had adopted this system in March 2017 with the view for legislative changes. So we are all in the same storm, we're just in different boats. What have we seen? We've seen graphic lesson content in Scotland. We've seen some graphic lesson content in England. We just had this legislation in Wales, age 3 to 16 with no parental opt-out. So when you dig a little bit deeper, these people are saying masturbation for babies. It's the World Health Organization. You know, these are reputable sources, so I thought. Well, when you dig a little bit deeper, they get these words like we are sexual from birth from research they carried out in the 1940s. This research can be found in the Sexual Behavior of the Human Male, published by Alfred Kinsey. Chapter 5 tells us that they had sexually abused and raped small boys from as young as 2 months old to claim we are all sexual from birth. That's just one theory. There's 3 theories involved in this. We got the gender ideology. Well, when you look into that, you know, they're telling us there's 79 genders, but when you actually go back to the papers, the studies, the research they did, you'll find a story about a little boy called David Reimer, who, as a young child, 18 months old, he had a botched circumcision. And he ended up in a man's office, and his name was called John Money, Dr. John Money. Dr. John Money claimed that gender was a social construct. And they forced David to live as a little girl alongside his twin brother. His brother grew up as a boy. And these 2 children were made to do horrific things to each other. Okay? So, John Money published this research as an absolute success. But in the 90s, the truth came out. David Reimer and his family came out and told the truth about this research, about this study. But by then, it was too late. This research, gender ideology, gender is a social construct, has been published as an absolute success. Now we've got a third theory. And please don't listen to anything I say. I want you all to go and challenge this when you leave. The third theory, queer theory. So this is something now that we're all hearing is hip and cool. It's great to be queer. It's anything but. Queer theory is about queering binaries, sexuality binaries, binaries between adult and children. They do not believe in childhood innocence. We have a queer theorist in Wales, Professor Emma Reynolds, who in her classroom content wants children to draw a body and talk about where it would feel nice to be touched, because nothing is out of bounds. So obviously, as general members of the public, this is not acceptable. So we challenged our government. Even though 87% of us rejected this, they went against us. We had a petition. We needed 5,000 signatures for a debate. They phoned us up on a Thursday night and they said to us, if you don't get 5,000 signatures by Monday, it goes up to 10,000. But we did get the 5,000 signatures by Monday. We was supposed to have our debate, but the Welsh Government took the chair of the petitions committee off because the chair of the petitions committee was on our side. That petition went through to the committee and they kicked it out, claiming they did not know what was misinformation and what was not misinformation. We had submitted 17 pieces of evidence to them. So we had no choice. We had to go for a judicial review on this. Knowing what's going on around the country, we were fighting 3 theories, graphic lesson content, and the legislation. It was massive. You can't. There's absolutely no way you can attack that in one case. So we went in for parental rights. We thought if we can get our parental rights reinforced here now, we can protect our children. So the Welsh Government lawyers went into court and they have argued, using case law from Europe, that parents' rights are not a thing. Parents' rights do not exist. We have parental responsibility, but we do not have parental rights. So the government slapped costs on us. We had a £50,000 fine for that particular case, £12,000 for the case before. 5 members of the country went into court. 5 poor citizens in Wales went into court to protect their children, and the government came after their assets. The government wanted to remove the furniture from their house because they dare challenge them on this sex education. So even though they have proven now none of us here have parental rights, they use case law from Europe to argue with us in Wales. This legislation can and will be used against every citizen in the UK because all 4 countries accepted the same education with a view for legislative changes. However, what we did achieve, we proved in that court that this was a global sex education. All 4 countries are involved in it. There is graphic lesson content coming from Scotland, but the media buried it. The media did not want you to know that we were running the most high-profile case in the UK because they couldn't call us bigots. They couldn't call us homophobic. They couldn't call us racist. Why can't they not call us these things? Because we are a mixed group. We have united our country on 3 principles and 3 principles only. Principle 1, everybody under 18 is a minor. Principle 2, there's only one split in society, adulthood and childhood. Principle 3, you are either part of the human race or you are part of the human disgrace. And it's the people supporting this education that we consider the human disgrace. And that is the reason why the media will not accurately report on us. Because when their camera comes into our crowd, they do not know if they are looking at a Christian or a lesbian. We have successfully united our country on these 3 principles. We have got 22 local authorities in Wales. We are the only country in the world with all local authorities fighting this, actively fighting it. We're joined in WhatsApp groups. The councils have shut down. They're not showing us lesson content. There's court cases going on for lesson content. So what do we do now? We inform every citizen of the UK of the danger coming into our classrooms, the danger surrounding our children. We do not have parental rights, but babies have sexual and reproductive rights, and they are now being taught in the classrooms in Scotland. If you have never heard of sexual and reproductive rights, I urge you all to go and read them right now. Because the only thing we have now is each other. We have proven the government is corrupt. We have proven the judicial system is corrupt. So now we empower each other. Now we empower each other to stand on our own 2 feet, and where we can stand on our own 2 feet, we stand together. This needs to be the straw that breaks the agenda's back. But what we do have in Wales, our children have rights. And in Wales, our children's rights are law. And we are currently empowering every child in our country that does not want this education. We're empowering them now to stand up for themselves. We are training up almost every adult that wants advocacy training so they can go into schools and they can fight and advocate for their children's rights. We did create case law from this court case, and that case law has placed responsibility onto head teachers. That case law has reinforced the fact they cannot teach something that infringes on your religious and philosophical beliefs. And that case law also states this needs to be appropriate for each child. So we are using this case law to our advantage. We are educating the entire country. And I'm very sorry to say this, but we are coming after the head teachers. The government want to place it onto their shoulders, and the head teachers wouldn't look into things. The head teachers wouldn't believe the parents. Well, now we have no choice, but we will be going after the head teachers, and we will be making an example out of them. So this is not our fight. This is not our fight. Devolution does not make this our fight. This is our fight. Our children, every single child in the UK. We are about to witness the death of innocence. What is a world without innocence? It is not a world I want to leave behind. It's not a world I want to live in. This has to be the straw that breaks the agenda's back. We do not have any rights to protect our children. Our children have sexual and reproductive rights, and the state can administer medication to your child without consent under these rights. Take a look at what's happening in America. This education's been full force out there for about 15 years now, and they have 22,000 children registered with irreversible trans regret. So we don't have to wait to see what's going to happen to our children. If we look across the pond, we can see what's happening to children. But what we need to do now, we need to stand up, we need to stand together, and we need to sort this issue out for our children. Because this needs to be the safest place in the world for raising and educating children, and we cannot do that until we successfully unite this kingdom. Thank you.